But the whole point is that I'm trying to help them see the truth of their identity. And I feel like using that label addict isn't helpful for that. And so I want them to see themselves in truth. And of course, those labels are effective when you're trying to find treatment. You know what I mean? You're trying to find the right help. And so I feel like, yes, labels are helpful there, but I don't want to debate. Are you an addict or are you not? Because to me, it's irrelevant. Your choices hurt your wife, and there needs to be repair happening. Let me help you to do that. And so what I try and do is help these guys separate the choices that they've made from who they are. Make that separation so that when they see their wife and she's upset, he's not automatically going to, I'm a disgusting human being, I'm an addict, I'm worthless, I'm this, that, and the other, all these labels, right? Instead of that, learning how to use the phrases more like, um, this is about my choices in the past. This is not about who I am today, right? And I can show up for her as the person that I am. The guys become more comfortable in owning their choices because they know my choices are not who I am. When they develop those empathy skills and they show up for her with empathy, they're showing her, this is who I am now. This is who I'm choosing to be now. If you're a person that wants to know if this is the right course for you, I have Help Her Heal previews that I'm offering for free. So you can come and check it out. I give a little bit of information, present some information from the first chapter of the book. And then I open it up for questions that you have, situations you find yourself in that you're like, what about this or what about that? And, I'm seeing this in my wife, I'm seeing that, and I'm open to answering questions so you can kind of see what the format is each week of the course. I desperately wanted him to show up with empathy because I wanted to connect with him. That's what I wanted more than anything. And I think if I had to guess, and I've talked to enough women to know that that's what they want. They want to connect with their husband, but they need to see that he's safe. And when you show up with empathy, that creates safety and that builds trust. And so it builds that connection that they're both looking for. Because empathy is a skill that you develop. And if you're involved in sexual misbehaviors, usually what comes with that is a lack of being able to emotionally connect with other people. And so once you have this sobriety where you're not acting out in those sexual misbehaviors anymore, you're able to start learning how to emotionally connect with people. And so, um, empathy is a skill that can be developed. It is possible. You can't develop something you don't know about. And so part of this is education, is just having the education of what's going on with their wife. Also, what is empathy? And what does it look like to offer empathy? It is helpful to go through the 12 weeks and have that time in between to practice the skills that you're learning. And we practice some of those in class, and some of the guys, it's like the guy will be the husband and then another guy will be the wife, and they'll role play sometimes to practice without feeling, threatened or feeling shame. And that's been a good experience for them when they play the part of their wife, because then that's actually part of empathy is imagining where is she coming from? How is she feeling? What might she be thinking? And so when they do the role playing and they're playing the wife, they have to think about how would my wife respond? What would she be thinking? How would she be feeling? And then they speak from that place. And so that is a really helpful way to develop that empathy is practicing stepping into her shoes. So it's fun. That's one of my favorite things about doing the Help Her Heal course is when I see guys, it's like their eyes open and they're like, okay, it makes sense now. Like she's not mad just because she wants to be mad. Like it makes sense now. You know, she's scared and she feels like she needs to defend herself, or like just having having a woman explain to them what their wife is feeling and how she's seeing something. It's like they're able to hear it when I say it because I'm nobody to them, you know, and so they don't feel threatened by me. So when their
Yeah.
wife tries to explain it to them, there's this they can't. It's hard for them to hear it because they're like
Yeah.
so much shame.
Yeah.
So when they come in and then I kind of and sometimes even the wives don't even know. I don't know why I'm so angry. I don't know why that bothered me so much. And so I love for them to bring their situations in and I say, "Hey, so let me tell you what was going on with her in that situation." And then, right, there's that clarity. And he's like, "Oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense." Right. And so it's all about stepping into her shoes and what that must be like for her. And so then that creates that empathy and that compassion, right? He sees her differently and like, oh my gosh, yeah, I could see how that would be really difficult. Let me sit with you in that and just be with you in that. So, and that's what empathy looks like. When you have a husband and a wife and they've experienced this betrayal and there's so much pain on both sides. And what's interesting is that when he learns to show up for her in her pain with empathy, she then, over time, naturally nurtures him and loves him and accepts him, even after whatever choices he's made. In all the ways that he's hurt her through those choices, she still wants to love him and nurture him. And there's healing in that for him as well, because that's what he's wanted this whole time is for people to love and accept him no matter what. And so there's healing on both sides. And when you have two people that are parents, that are healed, that are connected in that marriage relationship, they naturally offer more love and presence for their children because they're not so distracted by their pain. It's what you deserve. You deserve to feel your value, and your wife deserves to feel valued, and your kids deserve to feel valued. And so I would do it for free because that's what you deserve.